My reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, loving sarams to all of you. I hope all good at your end. Welcome to this special episode for the day. Sai Bhajan Lab, practice Sai Bhajans. Idea of creating this wonderful group was a long time dream to offer at Swami's divine lotus feet. We were thinking to have a group of 25 to 30 aspirants where we can practice Swami's bhajans. But in less than few weeks, around 2000 aspirants have joined this wonderful group, which shows their love towards Sai Bhajans and Swami. Surely Swami will guide us further. Today, we blessed to have with us Sri Nishikant Barodekar Sir to address and share his enormous experiences with all of us. Nishikant Sir is a renowned tabla maestro who captivates audiences with his radiant and joyful performances. Born into a Sai family as well as a musical family, with his grandmother being the illustrious Kirana Gharana vocalist Srimati Hirabai Barodekar, Nishikant Sir inherited a rich musical legacy. His passion for the tabla and dedication to the purity of his art are evident in his performances and teachings. Having initially trained in vocals under Ustad Ghulam Rasool Khan, Nishikant Sir switched to tabla and embarked on a journey that led him to become a very good and wonderful tabla player and disciple of Ustad Allarakha Sir. Nishikant Sir's association with the maestros and his wife Ammaji deeply influenced his musical growth, and he fondly recalls their care and support always. Beyond his performances, Nishikant Sir passionately shares his knowledge and artistry with the students as a dedicated teacher, conducting workshops and teaching at the music college in Puttaparthi. He actively ensures the continuation of tabla tradition and imparts his wisdom to aspirant musicians. Nishikant Sir's commitment to music extends beyond the stage. As a devotee of Swami, he combines his musical endeavors with spiritual pursuits. He currently serves as a professor in Sri Satya Sai Mirpuri College of Music, Prashantinilayam. It's a great blessing to have him today amongst us. With gratitude and humility, I welcome Sri Nishikant Sir to address all of us. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear. Sai Ram.
Offering my most humble and reverential pranams to the Bhagwan, our Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. And let's invoke and seek blessings for today's satsang. And the messages we are trying to share, which we have taught, which we have been learning, we are trying to practice amongst all our Sai family around the globe. So I wish each one of you a very, very warm welcome. I am a little more humble today to be in my hometown in Pune, and you can see Swami's picture and my grandmother's picture, of course, Shirdi Baba there. But I want to show you something, especially I want to show you the Swami's divine chair. This is not just a divine chair. Not any divine chair. This is where Swami had exactly physically come here to this house, and he was seated on this chair 50 years ago exactly. So in May we completed 50 years of his visit to our house. I was very small then. I was 3 years old. So I just thought I should share you that because Swami was here physically. And before I go ahead about our topic today, I would like to just share a few incidences what happened when Swami was here. Right at this place where I am sitting, when Swami had visited our house, Bhimsen Joshi, the great singer, also happened to be here that day. And Swami, after visiting the house, he met everybody, he moved around the house, blessed everyone, created vibhuti, and then he was seated on his royal chair. And then he asked my grandmother Hirabai ji, you can see the picture over there, to sing some bhajans. So my grandmother very humbly said that, Swami, I have been singing in front of you, and I was very fortunate to be there and always be at your seva. But today, we have a great male singer from our Gharana, from our tradition, Kirana Gharana. His name is Bhimsen Joshi. So is it okay if he sings for you? And then Swami said, yes, fine. So Bhimsenji sang two abhangs right here in this place. And Swami was very happy. That was the first meet of Bhimsenji along with Swami in the physical presence. And then Swami asked him after few abhangas that, do you know Purandardas Bhajan? So Bhimsenji said, I have it, but I don't have it right now with me. I will prepare, and said, now you listen, I will sing. And Swami sang Purandardas Bhajan. And he said, now you fix this bhajan, and next time you come to Parthi, you sing it for me. So that was how also one of our latest Bharat Ratna, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, the journey started around this one. So everybody knows and is very much aware and in an awe how much Swami loves music, right? Everyone knows that. Not just Sai Bhajans. Well, Sai Bhajans are there, but overall music as such. That's why over the period of time, as I have been seeing for so many years, and almost because I have been coming to Parthi since my childhood. So every time, in every festival, there was always a musician performing for Swami, an offering he is giving for Swami, he or she, may it be vocal, instrumental, or any genre. So we always wonder why Swami, yes, Swami likes music, Swami loves to hear music, but the answer was given by Swami. I will read it out for you, the answer what Swami said. Swami said, you all are thinking that Bhagwan inviting musicians to perform concerts at his place is to relax himself and enjoy. It's wrong. He said, the soul of every musician has a divine vibration. Every song in different ragas being sung will add the healing powers, and when the singer sings a song, those vibrations of each song are with different ragas to reach every devotee who is gathered there and heal their various problems. Right? So those days concert will be most of the, after the sunset, not in Prashanti, but otherwise also outside. The concert used to start, public concert, they used to start after dinner. And they used to go till midnight, or maybe like a last show, we have a movie last show, that like that. So that also Swami has said, the reason is that after the sunset, all the health problems, the worries, the mental disturbances will arise. To give a permanent solution to all these problems, ragas is the best healing source. So he has given importance to music as well as the raga. So, his love for music, definitely. And then, of course, coming to Sai Bhajans, everyone knows that Swami himself, of course, Nad Brahma himself, Parabrahma, Nad Brahma, Sai Saraswati, all the names, whatever you write, and, all adjectives are nothing in front of actual form. He encouraged, he always, put forth in track as in, the system of the culture of India. So that was also one of the main reasons. And with Sai Bhajans, of course, Namavali, Nama Sankirtan, Japam of Lord's name. So we all are more used to it, and more we know all these answers. But why Swami? Sometimes, if you remember, we have seen and we have witnessed that. Sometimes in the summer time, especially, we had seen Swami enjoying bhajans outside in the Kulwant hall, and suddenly he used to look up and make a sign like this at the ceiling. So they used to open the ceiling, That shutter is to go behind, the whole thing is to go behind, and it was free to air, free to sky. So we sitting there in front, doing bhajans, and we used to think, oh, Swami is so helpful and so loving. See, we are feeling warm and hot, it's hot season, and to get fresh air, Swami has opened that thing so everyone can feel cool. No, sir, we were fools. It was not just that. Swami one day answered that. He said, when you sing bhajans, when you sit in that position and when you chant the name of God, and when you sing in unison with your pure heart, your unconditional love for Swami, that pining, that arthata, that divine, invocation, that araja, means, you can say the pleading in that voice, that bhava. So it creates, when you sing in unison, it creates such a big amount of energy. That said, he said that the bhajan energy is thrown in the cosmos. And we used to think that Swami has opened the shutter for us to get a little breeze. We were wrong. So sometimes he had answered some questions, and sometimes we got such kind of answers. In various forms during his discourses or in an interview. So I will try to share a few which I came across, and I was very fortunate to witness and learn, and still learning and trying to follow on those steps. So they had suggested me that I should share what Swami has taught us for bhajans, for Sai Bhajans. Well, it's not like, a class or anything like that. It was never like a class. Sitting in front of Swami as a physical, sitting in front of the form is always a class. It's always a lesson. It's always a greatest, one of the greatest boons he has offered on you, he has blessed on you. Because to get the darshan itself, as we all know, he said hundreds of sages, thousands of people worshipping, they're praying for years, some of them are praying for hundreds of years. They're waiting for just one glimpse of Bhagwan. And here we were sitting in front of Bhagwan day in, day out, and singing for him, performing for him, singing bhajans and taking the form, hearing him. So, darshanam, sambhashanam, sparshanam. So, every move of his, every action of his is always a lesson for us, was a lesson for us. I'll give you an example. And some of those maybe have been repeated, maybe by some other previous speakers, maybe, but it's very interesting and very divine to hear. Some of the boys, the singers, I don't want to name them, all of them are great singers. And those days, I'm talking about around say 95, 94, 95, 1994, 95. The bhajans used to be in the bhajan hall inside the mandir. And Swami used to sit on his throne, and the bhajans boys used to sit in front of him. So at certain point of time, he used to make some very, very subtle signs, very rarely. But if you are unattentive, you have missed it. So we were told that when you sit in front of Bhagwan, you have to just look at his eyes. That's it. Be very, very attentive. Don't look here and there, no talking. Unless like when you are doing work, you are changing tabla or tuning or something like that. So you are working. So that's allowed. Okay. But that also only that much part, but I'm heard that you should not miss a second of that. So I have witnessed sometimes that his students, his singers are also so blessed and so close to him. An example. Singing was going on, bhajans were going on, and suddenly Swami just looked at a singer and then did this. Just very, otherwise normally he will take a kerchief and he will wipe his face or something like that. He just did like that. You won't believe. Immediately the singer started Krishna Bhajan. Immediately, like the next second he started the Krishna Bhajan. Swami also, as soon as the bhajan finished, he had done that side. So that kind of attention, that kind of awareness, you can't like to Kali Pache kya Kali do hai, okay, which bhajan and all that. See, you don't waste time over it, right? So that kind of preparedness he expected. And boys, of course, Swami's blessings were there. It's always there, and it's always there, still there. Once it happened, I was playing some bhajan, sitting right in front of Bhagwan, and bhajan was in 8 bit. Din da din din da din da. Din. I don't remember the bhajan, but suddenly he looked, he bowed down a little and said, Khandam, Khandam. Khandam means five beats. Khand jata hai. Now to 8 bit din da din da ti da ge na da ti da ge na da. I had to start there immediately. The singer was fumbled because the beat change from 8 to 5 is not a common thing, right? So dati da ge na dati da ge na dati, like suppose it is like bhajan Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha dati da ge na dati da ge na dati da ge na dati da ge na. What will the singer, what was the reaction? So everyone was like startled. But Swami had met that sign and he said it. So we tried to do that. And then Swami he laughed at it. And then so I did not know whether it was what he said was khandam or which I tried to just like, so what I mean to say that, he enjoyed. Basically, when we sit down and when we study and when we do a study circle or when we meditate and when we think, what is that thing we can offer to Swami? What any bit of it? Is it Naivedyam as in food? That's also his only, that's only Narayan. We are giving Narayan to Narayan. I mean, what is our thing then? Or any other kind of an object or some kind of a gift or a shawl or what? I mean, what can we offer him? Flowers? That's also his. So, bhajans was one thing, Sai Bhajans, which he really relished. He sat back and enjoyed. So, at one point of time, he even said that it's my food. It's the food for my soul. So that's the importance of bhajans. So when we sing bhajans, when we offer bhajans, we have to see that we are doing it for Swami and not as an exhibition or a performance. But there has to be a balance in that. I want to share that and what Swami has told us. That when you sing bhajan, Swami has always given this example of Bharat. Bharat means India, but Bhava Ragata. In many discourses, he has explained this. In the college also, when he had come in the initial stages, he used to come almost every day to the college in 2001 when the college inaugurated. So he had mentioned this. Also, he had mentioned this separately in front of some big artists in the interview room like Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma or singers or Pandit Jasraji, Bhimsenji. And I happened to be there as part and parcel of the group over there. So, on one of the occasions, let me tell you about the occasion. Some festival was there, and Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma was the main artist for that evening. So, along with him was another great tabla maestro, Ustad Allarakha. He is no more now, but he was also there. And I had played the previous day along with Begum Parveen Sultanaji. So, we were all there. So, next day he called us for interview. But before that, that evening when the festival main Shivji means Pandit Shiv Kumar ji, we call him Shivji. He's also no more now. So when his performance was there, Swami especially made every student to pay attention and like look, and he said, listen carefully. You want to experience the taste of divine experience, hear that. So he had said this in some of the VIP sitting in the VIP world. So Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, of course, he played his wonderful Raga and he enthralled the people. He took them to a different dimension. As soon as his performance was over, he asked two of our singers to sing some special songs, Sri Raghavam, and they sang songs. And they thrashed. They were very good and they sang excellently. And to see after all that 1 hour plus of performance of Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, it was even difficult for us to move and get up because we were so engrossed and mesmerized with that singing and that performance. And suddenly to sing, make somebody sing and to get into that mood and Swami. But the boys did excellent. Next day, in the interview, I was also part and parcel of the interview there. So when as soon as Swami came inside the interview room, we were all seated. We shut the door and he sat lovingly on the. Used to put on the fan and then he sat down. And then he asked Shiv Kumar Sharma, "Kal hamara voice kaisa gaya? How did my students sing yesterday?" First question he asked that. And Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma was like this, Swami, कितना सुंदर गाते हैं, कितना मधुर गाते हैं, क्या भाव है उनका, इतना भाव उसके गाते हैं, बहुत आनंद आता है, ऐसा भाव मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है स्वामी की वजह से. You know, like giving all praising the boys, and Swami said yes, भाव भाव होना चाहिए. But for that bhav, then Swami said, you know, the whole thing about how to create the bhav. He was telling about Bharat, Bhav, Raga, Raga. But then Swami started his telling, you know, because we were 2-3 tabla players over there also. He said it starts from the talam first. It goes the other way around. Talam, ragam, and then bhav. Bhav doesn't just appear like that. I mean, even if you sit down without singing and cry, that is also bhavam, sir. Or if you sing a poem or do a drawing or something, that you are putting that bhava in that. But in the musical aspect, first is the rhythm, you catch the rhythm, the movement of the, you know, and the ragam is there. So it has to be correct, it has to be learned properly. So the technique part also has to be appropriately, proportionally correct. And when you start practicing over that bhajan in that particular rag and that particular tag, that kind of mood, that kind of, you know, that flavor of that rag, the rasa, the navarasas, you know, one of the rasas. Each bhajan has different rasas, different rags. One more thing I would like to say in between. Swami did not like much those bhajans we had mixed of rags, two, three rags mixed together and doing cross swars and all. He never liked that. He wanted one rag having one bhajan. So tal, rag, and then when you keep on singing and when you put your heart in that, you cross yourself and reach Swami. That's where the bhav is created. So Pandit Shivkumar and Sharma and all these people were in awe, and he said again Shivkumar Sharma asked, but Swami, how do they create that bhav? I mean, still it is so, I mean, like, you know, so difficult. Now see who's asking whom. Shivkumar Sharma is called as the god of Santur. He is asking God himself. So very lovingly Swami said, when the character is pure, your bhav is pure. That was the answer. Your character has to be pure, so the bhav will be easier to. So this was one of the very, very big blessings which Swami has shared and explained to us in a very beautiful manner. So going ahead with bhajans, because I had been offered to, I mean, bhajans were at home since my childhood, and Swami's bhajans were always there. We used to go to Bombay, we used to go to Bhakti, we have darshans of Sai, as Balavika students, as all those, you know, many a times. And every time I used to ask Swami, Swami used to ask me, "Kya chahiye? What do you want? What do you want?" Swami, I want to be a student. Swami, please be a student. But he used to always say, wait, wait. So 4th standard, 5th standard, 8th standard, all that. So every time he used to say, wait karo. In the meanwhile, of course, I was learning tabla. I started learning tabla with Ustad Allarakha. That also was given to Sivana Swami. And after, like say, a tapo, almost like 12, 13 years, then whenever I used to go there to Swami, then one day he said, okay, now you come here and join teaching me. So he never made me a student, but he directly made me a teacher, which is one of the biggest tests in my life. Every day we face. So as every time I share that to be a teacher is first you have to be a good student and remain a student, and it's easier to do that. Okay. So coming to the bhajan part of it now. What happens is that there are two, three views to look at bhajans, Sai bhajans. First is Prashanti Nilayam bhajans. Prashanti Nilayam bhajans over there and Samiti bhajans. you do at the center, Sai centers and all. So what we do in Prashanti now, it's like more kind of, you can say, standardized. I mean, like, trying to make it more simple and all. But earlier, the bhajans were very difficult also, very different also. Bhajans used to have long, alaps or maybe some shloka sang over there. So those bhajans were made and they were meant for Prashanti Nilaya, not for center. Okay, you can sing in the center, but as a special program or some program or some function is there, that's a different thing. But as a general Sai center regular bhajan, those bhajans are also different and simple. They should be simple because everyone is not being able to sing every bhajan. That everybody knows. It's better to just learn 2, 3, 4 bhajans, make it for life. Learn it in such a manner that there should be no flaw. You don't have to do any extra curves or extra alaps or extra differentiation in speeds, going too fast or starting too slow. Every bhajan has a different kind of a psychology. Like people ask me, how your students, when in Prashanti they sing bhajans, how do they sing so beautifully? What is the secret of it? Well, the secret portion is that there is nothing secret. It's you have to practice those bhajans in the way it is being taught in a particular manner, right? So that's why Swami used to ask 2 singers to sing together, which is even more difficult. 2 tabla players to play together, that is even more difficult. Because in words, when singing, it's like written and it's there. But for tabla players or harmonium players, when we are accompanists, it cannot be matched. But still, we used to try to cope up with each other and make it sound simple and same. Very difficult. So boys practice bhajans in the hostel. They are taught there. They are selected that way. There's a committee who selects the boys, and also the matching is there. That his voice is correct to that point. Not just the pitch, but his way of singing, his way of pronunciation, all these things. I mean, it's very, very important because then when it's like ready after like 3 months or 6 months or whatever, then he's given a chance to sing. Even if it's a very good singer, he might be singing other songs in a very great manner, but still, even if for classical singers, some boys come there and they already learn classical. They are very good in classical because they have learned outside and they join also. That also is there. But to sing in mandir as the morning and evening bhajan in Prashanti, there's a particular way to sing, and there is other do's and don'ts. So don'ts is more important than do's. Always Swami, my Guruji Ustad Allarakha Khan Sir, when I was used to learn with him, the first thing he taught is what not to do on the stage, then what to do on the stage. I mean, along with that, right? So accordingly, also over there, the protocol, the system, the discipline, and then when everything is like you can say similar and symmetrical, then it becomes in unison that how is created and those energy and vibrations are created. We always enjoy. So when we sit for bhajans in Sai Center or anywhere in Prashanti, in your home or whichever where you are, even if you drive a car, you feel relaxed when you hear the bhajan. Why? What's that thing? The answer was that's what I read in the beginning, because bhajan is not just for sensual pleasure. I know that bhajan, it's so nice and you hum along with it and you are happy because you know the bhajan. But that's just the upper portion of it. In depth, the bhajan, it sings in you and it actually is healing you. You sing along with it, naturally you are chanting the name of the Lord, all the names of divine, so many 32 lakhs of, I don't know how many million gods are there. So, Swami has that ingredient of that bhajan, the chemistry for that thing, Swami has created in such a way that you can't miss it. I mean, anybody, any layman who is from any other part of the world or any other genre or any other culture, something is very attractive. That thing is so profound that it makes him relax and sit back, and it's very beautiful and very soothing to his ears. First thing, the entry to Swami's fold is through bhajans. Mostly 99.9% is that, and the exit also is through bhajan. What is the exit? I'm not talking about leaving this thing. I'm talking about like our day starts. We do then we sing bhajans throughout the day. We are in the we once in a while we are working and suddenly you remember bhajan and you sing it. So it's with us all the time. And also when you go to sleep, most of us, we do 4-5 bhajans at home, do arti and go back. So that also is there. Or even if there is a function, a Sai function is there. So such things are very prominently visible, and we have experienced these things. So coming to the accompanying of the bhajans. Now what happens is that playing bhajan theka, playing simple theka, that's the best thing to do. First, you should learn the proper theka, the right kind of. I'll just try to show you. Bhajan theka. So the first beat din should be so powerfully heard that the singer should be able to understand. He should recognize that yes, this is the sum, the mean, the first beat. So a lot of baya work is to be done. It's there, but there's no feeling. So that first beat is very important. Whichever tar it may be, with Dadara. And etc. etc. So now, suppose somebody is learned and nowadays I have been traveling many places and I have seen very good tabla players coming and playing for bhajans. Now what happens is that in the initial stage, see, they are young, they want to accompany the bhajan. So as soon as the bhajan starts, they will hammer in such a way that they will show all what they have learned in just fun bhajan only. Every line before, even if the main line is still going on steady, normally the system is that when the bhajan starts, like Shiva Hara He, Hara Shiva He, Sambha Sada Shiva Hare. Now this is like plain Dhumali, like very close to bhajan taker. So let the bhajan line be heard properly, let the singers follow, let it get registered in you. If I don't allow that to happen, and if I start doing Shiva Hara, Shiva Hara He, all this if I try to do, it will be so shaky, right? It's not yet like registered, not yet stabilized. We have to make it stabilized. So for that, the tabla player or the dholak player also should have patience. See, when you accompany a bhajan, first of all, see which deity bhajan it is. If it's a Shiva bhajan, it has to be a little forceful and loud. If it's a Rama bhajan, it is more straight and very serene. If it's a Krishna bhajan, it is more, see, it's according to their character, according to their what you say, their character. Little nutcut, little, what do you say, flamboyant also. Some bhajans are there, like, you can say, Maruti bhajan, Hanuman bhajan. Mostly they are fast. Maruti bhajan is never slow, mostly, because it's toward the end. So accordingly, we have to think, and accordingly, we have to listen and see what bhajan it is, what rag it is, what is the deity for which it is sang for, and what is the placement of the bhajan. If you are the first bhajan, third, fourth bhajans are mostly slow bhajans, so you have to play in a slow manner. Yes, when the bhajan goes in double speed, you always play a little bit faster, and you can play lagi or small feelers. You can do. Even while doing also, you can do very softly without disturbing the artist or the singer. Because unless and until if you don't put the artist in the comfort zone, you will not be allowed to play the bhajans in person. So that also is there. Sometimes we do a little bit masala here and there. That's okay, because that's what also is required. Now, here comes the time when I was very fortunate. since 1995, I'd come for some program along with an artist as an offering to Swami for his birthday. And after the next day of the program, Swami very graciously blessed us, and I was allowed to sit in the bhajan hall and ask play from then on. So naturally, we being just at home or just doing at Sai centers, we used to play whatever we want. But then, according to what is required, when I observed, when I was seeing the others play, see, being in that profession, I used to wonder why these guys are not playing anything. They are not playing at all. They're playing something which is like not much appreciated. But then I also understood that that is not required there at that moment of time. We are there to offer it as in unison to match that bhajan. So the accompaniment has to be in such a way, it has to be sweet, simple, and yet attractive. But not too much masala, too much heavy bowls in the beginning. Sometimes like heavy bhajans are there, Panduranga bhajan, like Panduranga bhajan, the take also has to be in that way, like Panduranga Vittala Jai Pandarinatha Vittala. That's the movement when the Varkaris, when the people who carry the padukas on their head from Alandi to Pandharpur, they go singing all the way 275 kilometers. And this is the tempo. Because that's the movement it goes on. That's mainly made for the Panduranga bhajans. So it matches that movement. So likewise, like always I show this also as an example. Some bhajans are so soft. They're very, very subtle, and they're describing the beauty, that grandeur of Swami, his avatar, like especially the Swami's divine lotus feet. Shitala Charanam, Komala Charanam. I mean, if I say, Shitala Charanam, Komala Charanam, Manjula Charanam, Mama Guru Charanam. I mean, when this bhajan starts, naturally it has to be, because the movement is very slow also, and the bhajan also is slow. We are describing, we are like, trying to share how beautiful Swami's feet are. And if I start with, it's mismatched. It might be a great tukda for some other dance item or some other item, but it's not required there, right? So I have to start also, we have to think in that manner, how it is, what is required. So that also is very much required. That attention has to be there, that presence of mind has to be there. So everything what you have learned is not to be played everywhere, anywhere. There is a particular time for that. So that is required, especially I see, I had been to Canada, USA last year, and I saw some great tabla players over there playing fantastic. I mean, their hands, they are learning classical with many people, good teachers, and so people are learned now. I mean, they learned the science and the technique of the bhajan, the tabla art. But now to play along with bhajan, Sai Bhajan is also this divine art, because that will come only with experience. And the more you hear bhajans played in mandir, don't go for like pre-recorded bhajans, go for the live bhajans. Little bit is there, we also play, because we keep on changing the theka. Theka means the grooves. Okay, now sometimes the bhajan is so long, like and sometimes the bhajan are very slow also in the beginning, naturally. Like Ramachandra Shri Ram. Okay. Now Shai Rama. By the time you go to there, it's like a truck climbing a ghat for me. It's climbing up the uphill. So it's like slow. Okay, let it be slow. Don't run over there. But then in that also, we keep on, after every maybe a stanza or 2-3 lines, we shift and we change the groove, so it sounds brighter. Like if I keep on doing, play same thing for like 3 minutes, not you and me, even Swami will be bored. Right? So that also has to be there. We have to have a correct proportion, what and how to put it in a way, not disturbing others and yet making it right. So this art we have to, listen more. Maybe if you can get to learn with somebody who is singing regularly and has been to Parthi or ex-student, it's always it will be very beneficial. So these are certain points. We sat there, we are sitting there and learning day in and day out, and we learn from each other. That also is very important, because initially when Bhajan started, the boys who were there, like Sonam Sir was there, Sai Sir was there, Sai Sir was there, some people were there. It was all of a sudden like they had to do bhajans. I mean, like earlier it was ladies and gents also, most very early. But then Swami said no, only students will sing from then on. So every day, morning, evening bhajans are there. So there's a list over there, there's a planning made. We see that a bhajan sang is not repeated in that week. Mostly, I mean, we try that. So accordingly, those bhajans. Then the day is important. If it's a Tuesday, it's Ganesha day or Ammaji day. If it's Thursday, it's Guru day. Monday, it's Shiva day. So all these things are there. So we try to put the bhajans in those manners. Most of you must be knowing this, of course. But all this counts that, the whole, you can say, I can't call it methodology, but the whole, equation of a good bhajan, these are all the ingredients, these are all the tools, these are all the things we have to learn. Not just singing bhajan, I sing any bhajan in any shruti, and yes, because Ravi sir or Amay or somebody good singer has sung, Ashwath has sung that very well, so I am going to sing that bhajan. No, I mean, it takes some time, because they might be singing, their voices are practiced, they have been learning, they have been practicing. So we have to sit back and learn each bhajan in a manner. It has to be learned in the right rag. The pitch has to be decided. Accordingly, also the tabla player, now we are with the rhythm part of it, like when the dholak player is playing, right? The dholak player, mostly when the microphone is there, then it's fine. The tabla microphone is there, then dholak can be played. But if there is no microphone, if tabla and dholak is there, tabla won't be able to be heard, only dholak will be heard. So that also is there. So there is a proportion for everything. Why Swami has, the way he has, laid out these rules, that in bhajan, somebody asked me, sir, why not? Because it's a Carnatic thing, the center of Karnataka, in the heart of Carnatic area. Why Mridangam is not allowed to play for bhajans? Well, why do you ask that question? What is there, you enjoy that, no? Swami has made it that much clear and, profoundly, like, it's been going on so beautifully. So there is a way, and let's follow that. Instead of asking questions, it's better to follow. So dholak player has to follow the tabla. Even if he is a good tabla player, normally, we keep on changing. Like 4-5 bhajans I will play, and then somebody will play tabla, I will play dholak. Like we can keep on exchanging. It happens everywhere. In the Sai centers also that. Because you get to learn, and it's like, multifaceted. So while bhajans are there, and especially when microphones are there, for the tabla, the singer, harmony, dholak can be played, sure, but in a soft manner. Now kanjira, when kanjira comes, now what happens with the kanjira? It's a beautiful instrument. I mean, if nothing is there, only if you play kanjira, that's enough also sometimes. It's so beautiful, especially for Nagar Sangeetan or group singing or something like that. But if tabla is there and dholak is there and you play kanjira, that also will be a little soft, because it's an open hand thing. Okay, we are trying to do with fingers, and open hand is louder, always louder. Also, the rings attached to the kanjira, the tambourine, when you, like, if this is the kanjira, like this is the kanjira, and if I do, so when I do this, the rings will sound quarter of a second or half a second later. So what happens is that when the bhajan is going, then and the kanjira playing, you get takka 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 takka. What happens is that the rings come late, now the sound comes late, so it goes takka 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 takka. It goes delay. So that also has to be done, because in the microphone it is caught, the sound is caught, right? It is loud. So sometimes we we keep only 1 or 2 rings. Those the metal rings are there. We sound like that, but they are in delay always. So such small things are very important. And also, like playing bhajans, what happens is that in Mandir Puttaparthi we have only gent singers, so we have five shrutis: C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Or sometimes we have seven or something odd because some functions are there, some extra songs are there. So that's it. But we tune them and we are ready with that with the list. Of course, you know that. So each bhajan has a shruti and the tabla is played likewise. Maybe in Samiti, every Samiti is not like that. Okay. So whatever tabla is there in whatever shruti, who is playing, somebody's son is playing very good, let him sit and play. Fine. I mean, it's like they're just motivating. I mean, you have to motivate them, but there has to be a proper system, a proper teacher, or maybe also we have come out with we are thinking about starting in the Bhajan tutor, as in Satyasai Media Center. This thing is there, na Bhajan tutor. How to accompany for Sai Bhajan's tabla, dholak, and shrar. So we will be starting that also. Even talam also. Like bhajan is going. Now sometimes fast is there. Sounds very good. But if the bhajan is in slow speed, okay. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Itna slow bhajan it's going through. I mean, you are sounding like it's a fire brigade coming. There's no requirement for that. Your expertise is not required over there because the bhajan is slow. Something like that. So that also has to be seen. That see the movement of the bhajan words, how they are placed, how it is composed. Like some bhajans are there, they sound very much hip hop. Like Shambho Shankara, Saiva Shambho Shankara. Well, not exactly hip hop, but like. That sounds nice for that because it matches ding, that kind of a move. The movement is that for that. The bhajan itself is composed in that way. It starts from the medium tempo. You can't sing Shambho Shankara. You are dissecting the bhajan. That's it. It goes out of the way. It's beyond the followers are lost. The tabla player is lost. So we have to see all that. So accordingly, the tabla player also has to have a presence of mind because what you are going to play is being followed by everyone, even the singer, because you are the timekeeper. The tabla player is not a solo tabla player; that is a timekeeper in your accompaniment. So it has to complement that version, has to motivate that version, and a little bit small fillers, and maybe when the first line repeats again long. Sometimes the bhajan are so long that by the time the first line is repeated, it's like 8 cycles or 9 cycles gone. Like for example, Pranava Swarupa Hari Om Sai Narayana Hari Om Narayana Hari Om. So that was one sentence. So, every bhajan has a different length. That is very important. Some bhajans are short. Like Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, or Gopala Radhalola, Guralilola, Nandalala. So small bhajans. It's not that it's wrong or bad or nothing like that. But the tabla player has to understand how to and what to play and not to play for that. So in our Hindi, when we were learning Khansa, Ustad Allarakha Khansa, he used to teach us sometimes, mostly in Hindi. He used to say कि गाने बजाने की जान तो देखो क्या है, तब तुम हथौड़ा मारोगे. अगर गाने की जान ही इतनी से है और इतना बड़ा कायदा निकाल के बैठोगे तो कैसा होगा? So what he meant was that if the song is so small and very very quick to move, and if you try to come out with some big long heavy composition, so it's a misfit over it, right? So that understanding, that presence of mind has to be there. So these are all more on the professional and more on the higher lesson, but it's always good to share. So I think much has been told, and Kirtiji, shall we continue or shall we have some kind of a question answer thing, quick question answer thing? What do you feel?
Yeah, Sairam sir, it is such a wonderful session. You can please continue. Actually, we have 2-3 questions only. Actually, if you
Okay.
continue, maybe I'll ask in the end.
Okay, fine.
Please.
So I have another 10 minutes.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
fine.
Sir.
And every bhajan experience is different. What does that mean? That when we prepare ourselves to go to bhajan, right? When we go there, reach in time, we sit in there, we are quiet, we try to absorb the energy. But sometimes we are late. So we sit behind and, So what happens is that the sanctity of the bhajan, the purity of the mind, the quietness, and especially, because if one person does something, the other is disturbed. Because he is trying to get connected to Bhagwan. And bhajan is one of the best way to get connected to Bhagwan. That's that divine magic, that divine, blessing Swami has offered to us. So, whichever bhajan you go to or any bhajan you are attending, keep this in mind, that you are doing something more than just for yourself. You are also helping others concentrate. Right? So that is also very important. Because you will come a little, suppose I am going a little late, 15 minutes. I am got in some traffic and I am late. I sit behind. But by the time you are settling in and you look here and there, who's coming, who's come, what, and all that thing happens. So you are not yet in the bhajan. You are just physically there. Like Swami used to always say, I'll tell you beautifully, many a times, we got so many divine chances to not just perform, but also to come there and also offer seva as Sevadan. I was there as a Sevadan for 13, 14 years. So we used to go 2-3 days early before the Seva date starts to have all kind of arrangements, the logistics and the placements and the duties and all that, And while going to Bhajan and going there and sitting over there, and Swami used to come and sometimes just go by. Third day he will ask, Kab aaya? The Swami doesn't know that I am sitting here for 2 days. I'm sitting in the same place. And I'm saying I'm something great. But the answer is, maybe the third day you are actually there. The first 2 days only your body is there. Your mind is moving around all over the town. Where are my chappals? How am I going to get my room? How am I going to get my dinner? All these things. So what I'm saying is that, when you actually are there, you can, before entering the bhajan hall, you stand outside and calm yourself. That also is a very good, because somebody shared it in a beautiful way. I heard this talk. One of the brothers was sharing this talk. To attend a Sai bhajan also has a protocol, a discipline. You put it on yourself. You just keep it in your mind. I should do these things, I should not do things. And you quickly get connected and you don't disturb others. So that is also very important. Same way like in bhajans also. Like many a times we have so many, small mishaps over there. Sometimes the mic is not working. Sometimes the harmonium mic is too loud. Sometimes, and many things happen. Sometimes out of two singers, only one singer's mic is on. It happens many times. So initially I have to get disturbed. A lot of, we correct the SNA and try to this, that, to that. But now over the period of time, you have to see that, you are there. Sometimes if the mic is on or not on, whatever, not just in Prashanti. One thing, sometimes it works by itself. Because that's the way it is. But that moment of time, we try to see that you are silent, quiet. Because if you are sitting in the front end, if you are fidgety around, the people behind will be more disturbed because you are moving around. They also get disturbed. So these are also very, very important things. And always try to sing simple bhajans. Especially Swami likes the bhajans he has sung. Swami has sung so many thousands of bhajans. So at least in every bhajan we should have such bhajans that Swami's favorite bhajans, so many of them. So they are simple, easy to follow, and they are for the masses. So more classical bhajans with very different rags and heavy curves and offbeats and this and that. That will be difficult for Sai bhajans to do bhajans in the Sai centers. Like sometimes we do in Parthi for special programs, as you have seen, or in other places also they do in a very good way. So these are certain things we have to take care and keep them aside, because there is an area for and a place for every bhajan, every kind of thought you have in mind. Okay, I like this bhajan, I'm going to sing that bhajan. Now you like that bhajan, but is it prepared that when the other guy hears you, then he will only tell you, sir, it was not correct or what correct. But I think I sing very, very well. So we have to be very careful about that. Nowadays mobiles are there. You can sing a bhajan and record yourself and do. Likewise, you can put a bhajan and play it also. Play. It sounds very simple, but the sanctity and the purity of the sound, like din, not that our primary boys also play over there, or anywhere. So we have to see that we get the correct sound first. Like singers, when they sing the bhajan, the voice should be so sweet and pure that it should be audible and receptive to the others' ears. Likewise, our hand also is. So we have to tune the tablas properly, see that na, dhin are sounding right. So these basic techniques are there which have to be done. Then the bhajans become more pure and more, they reach you more easier and they connect you with the basic intention. Our basic intention is not to do extra show off, or rather not show off. Show off is what? Yes, you know few things, you can play. But as I told you, there are certain areas you can't play, there are certain areas you can play. So you have to learn that can't and that the experience you need to have. Somebody can guide you, the seniors can always teach you that and guide you in a. So going ahead, also there are places where suddenly my two bhajans are over. I know only two bhajans and I am asked to sing one more bhajan. What shall I do? I'm trying to think about, say, sir, I don't know any bhajan. Don't feel shy about that. There's no anything about ego or anything like that. Yeah, I cannot, how can I say that I cannot sing bhajan? I'm a singer. So all these things, all this rubbish, you have to, because we are there just to, offer whatever is pure. Like we offer Naivedyam, to Bhagwan. When we offer it to Bhagwan, we make it so purely. We have a special attire, we have a nice bath, we are fresh, clean, and with a clean mind, we sing chants, shlokas or bhajans, and we prepare the food and we offer it. So likewise, bhajan also has a particular, this is the way how to do that. So it is typed by Bhagwan. And then you get connected because the singer at that moment of time is the leader for the whole connectivity. Like you have Wi-Fi and sometimes the connectivity is gone. Suppose some singer is doing some wrong thing, he is doing apashruti, he is doing betalam and all that. So all the behind over there, their connectivity is gone with the song. Because you are the reason I am singing wrong. So because of my mistake, their connectivity is lost. So all these things you have to remember, maintain, and be very true. Be very honest, be very pure with your heart. So then it happens. I think much has been told, and everyone I can see, your Sai devotees, everyone sings bhajans, but these are certain basic things we should all follow, and there are always rules and regulations for bhajans. Let's stick to that. Okay. So I think we can go for the question answer session.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, such a wonderful session. And actually, we can continuously enjoy your session for hours. And definitely, we need your further sessions also so that we can all learn and practice those sessions in our bhajan learning. So, if I have to summarize this wonderful session into few lines, as sir mentioned, that Swami's actions itself is a message for all of us, and Swami has given us this treasury of Sai Bhajans to cherish, and let's utilize that at his lotus feet. And also, sir beautifully explained about Bharat, that is Bhava, Raga, and Tal, in which everything starts with rhythm. From rhythm, we get Bhavam, and character is the fundamental.
From rhythm, we get then the Ragam, then the Bhavam is the last thing.
Yes. So from the rhythm, we get Ragam, then the Bhavam. And to get that Bhavam, he sir mentioned that the character is the fundamental to get that Bhavam to connect with Swami. And also, sir mentioned about quantity is not important, but the quality. So instead of learning so many bhajans with which are not perfect, better to go with few bhajans and practice it to make it very perfect to offer at Swami's divine lotus feet. And also, sir mentioned about all the instrumentalists have to concentrate on accompanying the bhajans in a simple way than showing how experts they are in that. and also have the constant concentration on Bhagavan whenever you sing for Swami or you are in a session. Then only we can, you know, uh, give that joy
Connect.
to others. Also, be clean and pure physically, also and mentally. And also, sir mentioned about the very important thing that sit calmly and avoid movement so that you will not disturb others. And also, to singers to select a simple version so that we can offer the best as singers. As singers are the connecting things actually in the session. And he gave wonderful demos. It's really a blessing for all of us, and it will be definitely helping all of us to implement in our centers. Thank you so much, sir. And we have small two, three questions actually. And
I'll
what
try
is
to
the
answer.
so what is the importance of practice? And you being a maestro and in tabla and busy with so many
First of
classes,
all,
workshops.
nobody is a maestro or nothing. Let me tell you one thing before you finish. Sorry to interrupt you. When you are in front of Bhagwan, nobody is a maestro, nobody is anything like that. Okay? You are try to be humble, simple,
Yes.
Now, as you say, practice. Sorry, you want to continue the question? Or are you done with the question?
Yes, this is the main basis, and actually being
Okay,
busy with
fine.
so many classes and workshops to address, how do you manage still to practice on a regular basis? Is a continuation of that question.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the importance of practice? Let me come to that. What is practice first of all? To keep on doing the same thing over and over again, singing again and again, is part of the practice, one fourth of practice. It is more revision, right? When you are learning with somebody, when somebody starts teaching a bhajan, see the correct notes or the thika is there, see the correct goals, and is it sounding correct or not, like whether it's the singing part, and you sing it until and unless you are satisfied up to your knowledge. I think I am doing perfect because that's what because I know only this much, so I am perfect, sir. Because my knowledge only is this much. So unless you increase your width, bandwidth of the knowledge, how will you do that? You can't just like record and sing and say, okay, I am correct to your family singer, you are singing very good lyrics. Because our knowledge is basically this much. So we need to learn a little bit of France, a little bit of Tars, some Saregama. Basics if you learn, that is very much important, especially like, the singers will always tell you, sing, getting in the morning, they do culture. Why? To broaden their breath, to get that bass sound. When the bass sound is okay, then the high pitch will be there. Everyone is in a hurry to reach up there only. Right? So that is also one very, very basic line. Like same thing with tabla. Everyone wants to play fast. Everyone is like in a mad race to do everything. What happened? We don't know. Something happened. But let us know what happened, and to do it is the technique and the practice. Each and every bowl, if I am saying, and if I don't, something is there, something is there. Timing is okay, but timing is not everything. Right? So what happens is there's a science for that. So when you're learning, that's what I'm saying. With the practice, go to the technique also of it. Go to the words of the lyrics also very important. Where to break the word, how to take the breath, how not to let the breath heard in the be heard in the microphone. Many times, all these things, the microphone blasts, right? So there are so many things we have to learn, we have to know. So it's always good to follow or maybe take participate in a workshop, bhajan workshop. Or some good singer have a bhajan leading, especially for bhajans. Likewise, also the tabla player, dholak player, we can show them boys who have learned, who have been playing, they can learn with them. And as I said, our sense of knowledge has to increase. That is most important. Otherwise, I think I am Zakir Hussain, then I am Zakir Hussain only. In my room, I am Zakir Hussain. That's not the way it is, right? So we have to see that everyone is not going to be Ravi Sir or Ramesh Sir. They have their own, because these guys have practiced, they are blessed by Swami. Everyone is blessed by Swami. But that particular, focus, the attention, the particular point in every curve or every sentence or every word being uttered has to be in that perfect manner. So one thing is good that of course you can follow and sing over the audio records and versions. It also helps. But it's always good to sit back and learn with a singer and get yourself corrected. and then practice. Practice means getting over your faults. Remove your faults is the practice.
Sir, that is wonderful actually. Last question actually. So now for the new bhajan singers, actually many of them ask actually how to learn to be on tal while practicing the bhajans actually. So what is your message on this? Sir?
Like you are singing a bhajan, learning a bhajan, right? Or you are learned a bhajan. Many of them I have seen good bhajan singers also. They cannot put correct tal while singing bhajan. Like Shiva Har He, Har Shiva He. Now this bhajan is starting off the beat. Shiva, it is not Shiva Har He, Har Shiva He. There are certain bhajans on the beat, some are off the beat. So count 8. If it's an 8 bhajan, now count 8. The Carnatic boys, they do very well. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. In Hindustani system, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Din, da, din, din, da. Din, da, din, da. Din, एक भजन टेका I am saying. Din, da, din, da, din, da, din, da, din, da, din. Many of the tabla players, they play the bhajan teka in a way, din da, tin da, tin da. No, it is din da, tin da, tin da. Right? So we should be able, the bhajan singer should also be able to do that. Like Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ada, Dana, din na, tin na, taka din na. So then it's perfect. Then you know which beat, what word is being uttered. That should be, the singer should be able to know. It is not by judgment or gesture or something like that I am coming on the sum somehow. No. Every word should be understood in which, what place of the tal, which beat you are on, that word is. Then you understand the bhajan in a correct rhythmic manner. It's a habit. Once you are in a habit, initially it takes some time and it will take a lot of practice. But once you get it, then it becomes naturally. Then you don't even need to give the tal. You don't even need to clap. That is for like learners. You can also, I mean, it's not wrong that you can clap and sing, but once it is so much in your system that it becomes a natural part. Right?
Yes, sir. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Such a wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I think we'll surely implement all these learnings today into our practice and offer our best to Bhagwan. So in the future also, if anything is there on this, we'll definitely seek your guidance and blessings also. So let's end the session for the day. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Sai Ram. No, thank you.
Loving
Sai
Sai Ram.
Rams.
Loving Sai Ram, sir. Loving Sai Ram, sir. Om Shanti 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 Samasthalokah Sukhino Bhavantu Samasthalokah Sukhino Bhavantu Samasthalokah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
giving me this opportunity. Sai Ram. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.